Hi, I'm your host Roger Monder, and welcome to Breaking Ground, your window on agriculture in Newfoundland and Labrador. This week we're going to have a look at horticulture and landscaping and see the role it plays in our agricultural industry. Jeanette French and Mark Bowring have seen a dramatic change in attitude towards horticulture and landscaping in this province. A lot of people now look at their backyards as another room to be added to their home. Unusual landscaping features and exotic plants are becoming a permanently natural characteristic of many provincial gardens nowadays. The growing of corn for animal feed is very much a reality on most dairy farms in this province. Well, it wasn't always like that. Just 10 years ago, most everyone said it couldn't be grown here. Well, with a combination of science, determination, and innovation, the story of how corn has become a staple crop in this province is one well worth telling. And of course, our friends Ann Budgell and Kitty Drake are back in the kitchen. This week, Kitty is going to show us how to prepare a meal of duck. And as usual, she will spin her magic with a unique approach to a standard dish. So why not sit back, relax, and enjoy the show? We'll be back in no time. Agriculture has many sides to it, and horticulture and landscaping are one of its most dynamic components.
The province of Newfoundland and Labrador is constantly changing, and nowhere is that more dramatic than in how we dress up the property around our homes. The need for landscaping and the horticulture that goes with it has multiplied 10 times over. No one knows more about that phenomenon than landscape designer Jeanette French. There was a time when the concept of a landscape designer was very foreign, but nowadays it's quite different.
A designer can help in a small capacity of consulting with a homeowner or a commercial project and just giving someone ideas of what would look great on the property to finish off your home. You can spend a lot of money on the construction of your home, and people tend to forget that their landscape finishes it off. It's like the bow on the gift wrap. I initially positioned myself as doing 1-hour consultations and going to residential clients and just talking about their gardens. Newfoundlanders love gardening and love getting outdoors and beautifying their property. And I thought that that would be the niche market. But as it turns out, full-blown CAD designs are what clients need these days, and that's the bulk of my business.
Jeanette basically puts her clients into 2 categories.
I have a really experienced gardener that is kind of stuck in a rut and they want to have another outside fresh opinion. Or the other client is someone that wants their garden beautiful but doesn't have any time to be in the garden. And they want my help. They don't really have an interest to be out there, but they want their property to look beautiful and they want it to be low maintenance, and they call me to just get the pain off their shoulders or the weight off their shoulders.
But her approach to any client is the same.
We make an appointment and I come out to your property and I take photos and we can measure things up. It's up to you, and we'll sketch up a rough design on graph paper with hardscaping material suggestions, softscaping, that's your plant material, large trees and shrubs, and a lot of homeowners take that and ride with it, or that's just the starting point.
If nothing else, Newfoundland is known for its rock. Farmers in this province regard rock as an obstacle to overcome. It's a constant burden and irritant. But for landscape designer Jeanette French, rock is a gift. Frederick Hand and Associates, who began the project, feel much the same as Jeanette French.
I don't think there is a property that doesn't have rock. So that wouldn't be, even we didn't anticipate digging up so much rock on this property to dig out the pond, and every stone that came out of the pond we can use. But if there was, I still would use rock. I mean, sometimes homeowners are looking for a certain tone or a certain style to match their house or to blend into their property, and that rock may be not on their property right now, so they have to find it somewhere else. And Newfoundland has a few quarries around that are quite unique to Newfoundland, and the colors and this stone a lot of people like to bring in. It's beneficial to every project I do. The hardscaping, natural stone is key. I think that we are so fortunate to have rock, and that we can really work with what we have here.
The property she's working on now is a good example. A huge rock face became apparent as workers began to clear the property in the back of this house.
It's funny, I didn't see it as a problem at all, and other contractors that came in, or people just working on the property, oh, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do? And I immediately saw it as an opportunity to create something beautiful, and I think the homeowners did too. They wondered if they could use it to their advantage, and they absolutely can. And it's going to be the most unique waterfall in the province.
Landscape contractor Mark Bowering feels much the same way about this particular project and the use of rock in general.
This stone, it's for a water feature, and normally the rock would have to be covered because we've got to contain the water. We've got to put a liner in for this pond, but we're going to use it to our advantage here in this situation, and we don't normally have a good rock face like this to use. It's amazing. It's totally exploded. One big thing, of course, is accessibility to landscape product, mainly stoneware. And soils and mulches, and even in the box stores and local suppliers, you see all kinds of new products available. So it's really, really getting popular. People want to dress up the outside of their house just like the inside now.
And what is the overall picture of horticulture and landscaping in this province?
Definitely local companies have, because of what they're providing in terms of materials. As well, general public have become more knowledgeable of what is available, just simply from what they see around, and it's really getting big. Landscaping is a big industry.
Certainly you don't have to go far to find rock on the island part of the province for your landscaping project. When we come back, we're going to have a close look at how corn has become a staple food source for dairy cows. The use of corn as a food source for the many dairy cows in this province has a colorful history. Let's have a look.
Nothing happens in a vacuum. And the short history of growing corn to feed dairy cows in this province is a good example of that. Keeping a close watch as to what technology is being developed outside the province and developing adaptive research to conditions inside the province all contributed to making corn a staple feed source for the dairy industry. Brent Chaffee of St. David's is part owner of one of the biggest dairy farms in Canada. The West Coast farm didn't always grow corn, but Brent Chaffee knew of its benefits and also was told it couldn't be grown here in Newfoundland.
We had an actual need for the nutrients. I mean, corn is very high in energy, and the yield, for instance, of corn is 15 to 20 ton per acre. A yield of grass would be 5 to 6 ton per acre. So, you can take an acre of land and you can get 2 to 3 times the volume off it compared to a conventional crop we would grow. So, as a growing operation, to be able to, increase the total feed tons available to us is certainly an attractive factor. If you tie that to someone telling you can't do something, it makes it that much easier to give it a shot.
Well, Brent Chaffee proved his point that corn could be grown on the west coast of the island. On the east coast, it was a different story. In most parts of Newfoundland, the growing season is around 122 days. But now, with the short and medium season hybrids and the use of a carbon-based biodegradable plastic, the corn growing season can be extended by 2 to 3 weeks. Scientist and researcher Alan Quibia of the Atlantic Cool Climate Crop Research Center explains in more detail the process.
And that means that the corn is able to emerge, germinate earlier. The corn is able to emerge about 9 days earlier. If you don't use the plastic mulch, it takes about 29 days for the corn to emerge. But if you use the plastic mulch, it emerges from 5 to 9 days. And once it emerges, it stays under the plastic, and the temperature of the air and the soil under the plastic is about 5 to 10 degrees higher than outside the plastic, which means that by the time the corn breaks through the plastic, it will be able to sustain itself with that higher temperature under the plastic and grow well.
The video you're looking at is a promotional video put out by an Irish company called Samco. David Walsh of Glenview Farms on the east coast of the province paints a picture of their involvement in the initial growing of corn.
I guess when we first dabbled in corn, it was talked about. It was done in the west coast. They had good results out there because they have the heat units. Those guys done pretty good at it, the guys that first started. East coast. The biggest factor, I guess, is just what's around us today. You got fog and overcast, and corn loves all the sun it can get, and our yields would have been less than our grass fields. So we tried it for a couple of years, and when we sat down and penciled it out, it just didn't. It don't pencil, it don't fly. So you can only lose money so long before you're no longer in business. The first couple of years we tried it on a few acres, and it just didn't work out.
But a trip to Ireland exposed local farmers and researchers to Sam Smile, owner of the Samco system. Mr. Smile's advanced technology included soil preparation, carbon-based plastics, and refined harvesting machinery.
Sam Shine was the Irishman that was here, and he's basically educated us on any system and the preparation that's required to get the corn to grow. The biggest problems we were having, we were growing grasses, which doesn't require a lot of tillage in your soils, but when you use Samco system and the tillage in the soils, there's quite a difference in what happens, you know, and the returns are more than pay for themselves.
So, with a combination of risk takers, researchers, and dairy farmers who were willing to buy into the new technology, the story of corn as a feed source in this province is one with a happy ending.
What a great story. Well, when we come back, we're back in Anne's kitchen with Chef Kitty Drake. I'll let Anne tell you what's in store for us.
Grilled duck breast with caramelized onion and rhubarb sauce right after the break.
That's it. Knife in one hand, fork in the other. Now you're ready for our cooking segment.
Hi everybody, I'm Ann Budgell and welcome to my kitchen. Kitty Drake is here with me today. She's a chef and a food consultant. And Kitty, we're going to talk about rhubarb today, but I have to ask you, what's with all this gear?
Well, that's a little later after we discuss rhubarb. It's one way of using rhubarb in possibly an untraditional manner.
Okay, we've got some, I'm going to give a hint, some duck breasts grilling down under here, and they smell pretty good.
They are pretty good.
But let's talk about, in this big baking dish in front of us, rhubarb crumble.
Right, strawberry rhubarb crumble with some toasted almonds on top. Pecans are as delicious as the almonds, and it's the very beautiful marriage of strawberries and rhubarb.
Oh, they work really well together.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I love rhubarb strawberry pie.
Yes, and I like it with a little bit of grated orange rind. You know, it's another ingredient that goes well with rhubarb.
What's in the bottles?
In this bottle I found a Penny's homemade rhubarb pickle. Now that you would eat with salt meat maybe, different kinds of meats, and take a look at it.
Oh, it's got turmeric in it, so that's what made it this color.
Golden color, yes.
I bet you that's good. And everybody loves pickles.
Oh, everybody loves pickles. Yeah. So that's what that is, and this is my own rhubarb marmalade, and I make my marmalades and my jams for that matter on the soft side, as you can see, because I like to be able to use them not just on on toast or scones, but as sauces on ice cream, cakes, or in this instance on what we're going to be doing in a bit on the show.
You know, whenever you and I talk, we're always bragging about the quality of local ingredients.
Right.
And rhubarb is something that's everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
It grows in the northernmost part of Labrador, you know.
Yes, I know that because I had rhubarb jam made from rhubarb picked at Hebron this past summer. So it grows well. It's our first sign of spring. When we see those little shoots of rhubarb coming up, we know that spring is just around the corner.
And it's chock full of vitamins.
Chock full of vitamins, just don't eat the leaves.
Okay.
Because they're poisonous. And I also learned that the roots are too. So it's just that stalk you want. And it does come in a variety of colors. They can go from green to very red. But they all taste absolutely delicious. And people do make soup out of them. And all kinds of desserts. And originally, they are actually, botanically, I guess is the correct term, a vegetable.
Oh.
We use it as a fruit.
Yeah.
And we seem to like the combination of rhubarb and sugar.
Well, let's get cooking over here. And what's going to happen? She's got a little propane burner here.
Yes,
and what's going to happen in this frying pan?
We are going to make a sauce for our grilled duck breast, which
These beautiful duck breasts.
Yes.
They look perfect.
Well, they're certainly looking grilled.
Yeah.
And I've got this little bit of fat here, a little bit of duck fat. So I've just put a little bit in because it adds that bit of
ducky taste.
Ducky taste to the sauce. I mean, you could do it without, but you want, you know, a little bit of that ducky.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand that
I'll
over
be
to
doing
you,
that.
Anne.
Yeah, right.
And I'm hoping that's getting nice and hot very quickly because
feels good.
First thing we're going to do is put in 1/4 of a cup of balsamic vinegar.
Oh, it's bubbling up nicely
which
here.
I really love. And we need to reduce that, so we're just going to bring that to a hard boil. And so it becomes nice and brown. How's it doing?
Lovely aroma coming off the vinegar.
When we have got that reduced down a bit, I'm going to be adding what I've got here again, because it's another one of my favorite ingredients, as you realize, is caramelized onions.
Right.
Which take time to make. But if you're going to make caramelized onions, the best thing for you to do is make a whole lot and freeze them.
Oh,
perfect. And then you just take out...
Freeze them in
little
quantities. The small quantities.
Oh, that's doing beautifully, Anne. Yep. Absolutely gorgeous. Just swirl that around.
When do the onions go in, Kitty?
In just a second now. As soon as that's just a little bit thicker, looking good.
There's sugar in this vinegar, isn't there?
Yes, balsamic vinegar does have sugar. Okay, you can get that?
Get it all out there.
Okay, just continue to stir that up.
Yep.
And here comes the rhubarb marmalade.
Adding more sugar.
Oh, well, yes. But it's
that'll help it thicken.
This is a sweet-sour type combination. Just get that nice and hot, and it's done.
Wow.
Here, I'll take over that if you want to get a duck breast out.
I will. Come here, you.
And if you'd like to slice off a piece, we'll try this. I'll just give it another stir. Maybe, can you reach that?
I'm afraid to reach over that propane burner.
Then. Stop. You stir for 1 more minute and I'll do that.
Yeah, okay.
Don't want any burnt Anne Budgell.
No, not on this show.
Okay, Anne Budgell. We're going to do this.
Oh, here, Kitty.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the way that we do it at home.
Oh, absolutely. There we go. I'm going to turn that off now.
Okay.
Okay, don't eat that until it's cooled just a little bit. I'm bossy, sorry. Doesn't that smell good?
It does. Excellent. You could bottle this and sell it, Kitty.
I think so,
Oh, no,
too.
don't do that.
No, I'm not going to. No, too old for that now. Thank you very much. I'll just cook with you, Anne.
Did you invent this recipe?
Yes.
Way to go, Kitty.
Oh, thank you.
That's delicious. And if people wanted to do something like this and they had some other marmalade?
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't have to be rhubarb,
The
right?
thing is, with meat, you want something that has a bite, a tang to it. You can do strawberry, but I would put the strawberry with gooseberries.
Partridge berry. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Well, a real winner, Kitty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that's all about rhubarb, and I hope other people will try this delicious sauce idea from Kitty Drake.
I bet you can't wait to try that yourself. On our final show, we're going to bring you 2 stories of innovation. The first one has to do with peat bog and how it can be used for bedding for many dairy cows in the province. A shortage of sawdust and wood shavings in the province has forced farmers to look at other alternatives. An experiment to see if processed peat bog would work here is still in progress, but to date, the results are looking very promising. At least the cows seem to be happy with it. Brookfield ice cream had its own history of innovation when it was taken over by Scotsburn. That tradition has been carried on, making Scotsburn a world leader in the manufacture of ice cream. Every day, tractor-trailer loads of product leave the plant on Lamarchant Road in St. John's to find it being shipped to almost 30 countries around the world. Newfoundland ice cream often finds itself in unlikely countries like Australia, Egypt, China, Ecuador, Portugal, and even Saudi Arabia. It's a story you won't want to miss. And we're back in the kitchen for the last time with Anne and Kitty. Kitty's going to have some fun with some old traditional Newfoundland dessert recipes. Is anybody in the mood for some pudding? Believe me, our last show is one you won't want to miss. See you then.